What? Fuck off. Alright, let's just check the audio. Good work. What's the scope on that like? Check the view. Okay, that's pretty good. So let's go chat only, apply. Great, get rid of that garbage. And we're away. Hey Snow White, how are you, bud? Welcome to the stream. Okay, Famo. Now, let me give you one bit of advice with mulloway fishing, right? You always catch more fish using burley than if you don't use burley. So what I did is I just went to the service station and I just bought some really cheap bait. Okay, I don't want to use my good stuff from home. So what I'm going to do is, don't make the mistake of doing what a lot of people do. They'll just start throwing burley out. You want to put it right on the edge of the shore, especially when it's frozen, because it'll keep floating until it defrosts. Right. Now you don't need much. And where we are, I don't know whether you can see this, right? But the river comes out and widens open here, which is a really good spot to find fish. You'll usually find them on the edge of the canopy line. So the biggest problem that we've got here is that if we do hook a fish, it's going to go straight for structure. Right, now there's not much water movement at the moment, which means the tide's at its peak or not far off it. So we've only got about an hour to an hour and a half to hopefully get some fish in. Burley should take about 10 or 15 minutes to kick in. Okay, and then away we go from there. So what I might do is just put a few bits out in the river here, and then hopefully, you know, we can get them to come in. But with all these boats moving and that sort of stuff, it's going to blow all the burley out into the water. Okay. Now we're not going to fish with bait tonight, we're just going to use lures because that's what we do. It makes it far more challenging to hook fish. Totally different ball game with soft plastics, but anyway, if you're good enough you'll get them, you know. So, Snow White, how's your day going, mate? You having a good day? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave a big concentration of burley down here. Okay. Clean the hands and away we go. Thanks to the 23 viewers that have tuned in early. Let's hope it ends up being a good night, eh? Hopefully that's not the only fish that we get tonight, you know. Oh, that water's salty. Now, if there's fish around, right, keep an eye on this area in here, because what will happen is they will come in and they will try and snaffle the free feed, okay? All right, so that's all good, that's all good. What I'm going to do is we're going to use 2 soft plastics today, right? That's a soft plastic that caught the fish last year, and this is a new white bait soft plastic that we're going to try out. They're okay, but I still think there's a few issues with them, you know. Last Warrior Rock, how are you, bud? Oh, thanks, Invader Zim. It was quite nerve-wracking, bud. I'll be straight up with you. Now, let's just hope the snakes don't like green phone covers. All right. Now, let me tell you what this spot's got going for it, famo. For starters, you've got a spot on the river that opens up. Okay, so usually that means that when the water roars through here with the tide, this is like a little eddy on the side where fish can sort of conserve their energy. So you might have 20, maybe 30 feet where there's a bit of a lay area, if you know what I mean. And basically they can just sit here, face out in the current, swim out, feed, come straight back in and save their energy again, if you know what I'm saying. So, oh, I don't know, Messmas, I'm just happy to be out, mate. So, all right. So what we'll do, let's try, yeah, look, Messmas, with regards to stonkers and all that, bud, I have no control over what we're going to catch, mate, and we don't do personal bests and that sort of stuff, mate. We just like coming out here and experiencing it, you know, and sharing it with the community. That's what it's about. Okay, so this isn't really going to do me any favours because the tide's going that way, although no, the water's stopped because my line's not even moving. Okay, so let's just see what's happening here. It's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes for that burley to work, fam. All right, so now the water's starting to go out. Watch the leaves, famo, which means the tide might have changed, so we might be a bit late. Same old story with fishing, people. You just got to put in the time. And of course I forgot to bring the mosquito repellent. All right. There's one buzzing in my ear already. Now there's a shag out in the water. So, yeah, it would do, Invader Zim. Look, mate. Hooking a mulloway in this river is the start of your problems because then you've got to try and land it, bud. Right? So, pub test, how are you, bud? Good to see you, mate. So with that, this is plenty big enough, you know, but the biggest problem is you're going to have to fight the fish for a long time to bring them in. But normally when you fish for mulloway weight, if it goes out on one big run and comes back in, okay, well, I'll break it down. So if it goes out and comes back in, you know they're up to about 40 or 50 centimetres, right? If it goes out and comes back in, it's usually anywhere up to 70. Goes out, comes back in, goes out, comes back in, 70 to 80, maybe 90. If you hook it and it shoots off downstream for 2 or 3 minutes, well, then you're in trouble. And that's what's happened to us live on stream before, but anyway. you know, that's how it goes, doesn't it? It's like lotto, Zim. You've just got to try and, just got to be in the right spot at the right time, mate. So, the only problem is this river's quite polluted, right, and has been for a long time, so it's always been an issue, you know. Petty Demon, hello bud, how are you, mate? And Petty Demon, make sure you acknowledge Mr. Demon, okay? All right. Now see out in the middle of the water there? Can you see out there where that water's changing? Now that's not river. Okay, so did you just see that change in the water? You've got to be observant when you fish, people. One eye on what you're doing, one eye on the water conditions. Now none of the leaves are moving, so we're at the change of tide. Ah, little blue manna crabs come in to steal a above all else, people, never lose the enjoyment of fishing, right? You know, you see so many people banging on about, oh, that's how you do it, and, you know, this is my personal best. That's just an ego thing to say. Don't worry about that, right? Just come out, enjoy your fishing, enjoy what you're doing, enjoy the challenge. We're trying to deceive a wild creature with something that doesn't taste like food. It just looks like food. Do you know what I mean? So anything that's dumb enough to bite, Petty Demon, I think. That's usually how I roll. But I have caught some big fish out of here, fam. And I mean big, right? Right, that's the cast. Now, the reason why I've come out today, right, that's right, Petty Demon. The reason why I've come out today, okay, we've had a massive drop in the barometer. Whenever you've got a massive drop in the barometer, you can tell by the skies, right? This is when you should be out on the beach fishing. Right, with the moon phase and everything, these are good conditions. The only thing going against us today is there was a high tide that sort of is going to finish about 7 o'clock, which is now, but that's all right, we'll figure it out. Do you see out in the middle where that ripple was? Now, was that a bird or a fish? Let's have a look. If there's no bird sticking its head up, that was a fish feeding. Don't you dare come and pinch my fish, you fox of the water. We know that there's fish here because the cormorant's just landed above it. But just out in the middle there was a disruption in the water surface, so something just chased something to the surface and smacked it. So what we might be doing is we might be changing colours in a minute, okay? But this sort of rocky bottom and position on the river is really good, okay? I don't think there's any brim here though. You drop something on my head, bud, and we're going to have words. All right. We might have a chance tonight, famo. Think about it too. Johnny, don't worry about pub test, mate. Pub test is an enigma, all right? Pub test has probably forgotten about streaming more than what some people know, bud. So if you're a streamer that wants to go on the way up and you want to partner with someone to help you with that, pub test is your man, right? He also mods for one of the largest streams on YouTube and Twitch, but we won't go into that because Pubby is a humble guy, right? Now, what was that? That was a crab, I think. Oh. Sigan, welcome. Pubby, can we please have a shout out for Sigan? Games, how are you? Hey, Ausdan King, how are you, bud? Nah, you don't have to buy beer for him, mate, because beer doesn't pay the mortgage, you know? Just going to try a bow and arrow cast in here, fam. Just give me a second. Sigan. Gomez, how are you, bud? Mate, I'm from Western Australia and I'm born in 1970, so we could be long lost brothers, but Mum was a good lady, so we're probably not. Perfect. Oh! Oh! That was on the drop. Come on, come back. Come on. No. Oh, I'm going to leave that one to have a rest for a second in case its brain hurts. Ausdan King, how are you, bud? This is all salt. Most rivers right up to the coast. Well, put it this way, this river's salty for about 10 kilometres inland, fam. All the trees that you see here are salt tolerant. The ones that aren't have died. That's the one. Yeah, we should have been down the beach tonight, but unfortunately there wasn't enough time left on the tide. Monkey, how are you? No, not necessarily, bud. No, Western Australia, Ausdan King. What's this? 10,000 steps. I haven't moved. Just going to try a couple more casts. I think the water's coming back. All right, one more cast with this and we'll try the white bait soft plastic. One little one in here. Elijah, how are you, bud? Nah, we are 3,000 kilometres south, no, 3,500 kilometres south of Crocodiles, fam, so we're all good. Now, if there's anyone that lives in a major city here in any part of the world, do yourself a favour, contact your local port authorities and find out when the big ships that have been moored for a while move out from their berths and see if you can get permission to go in and fish that area. Because when those big propellers work and they stir up the bottom, it dislodges a lot of food and a lot of big fish will go in, okay? Oh, that's exactly right, mate. Oh, nice one, bud. Hey, Loey, how are you, bud? What's going on, mate? All right, let's put this one aside and we'll use a little white bait soft plastic. I might have to put on the 3-inch Z-Man grub tail. Thanks very much to the 70 odd viewers that are in here. Yeah, Sigan, we do fishing for enjoyment, bud. And we treat everyone in our community like family, mate, you know. So, let me just get this bit of wet. Is that swimming or not? Not really. Oh, Oh, it's not too bad though. Yeah, what I'm doing, people, is I'm just getting my fitness up again before we go out on the beach. Right, so that's why we're just coming down to the river for a couple of trips. And then we'll hopefully be on the beach after the weekend. No point going on the beach for the Australia Day weekend, they just destroy it. No fishing spots left, nothing. Yeah, the tide's going out. I think we've missed it. Yeah, sometimes that's the best way to do it, Hugo. But you're lucky in South Africa, mate. You know, you've got your cob, which are the same as our mulloway. You've got your elf and shad, which are the same as our tailor, and also bluefish in America. You know, you've got your oyster crackers in the surf and all that sort of stuff, you know, but you've got a lot of skates and that sort of thing as well. So you've got a fantastic and quite rich fishery along that Natal coast, you know what I mean? So years ago when I worked in the tackle trade, I had a gentleman from South Africa that would buy the big Alvi downriggers off me, like the boat reels, and use kites, and he'd bring me books on fishing in South Africa, you know? So yeah, you're very lucky there, mate. Mulloway one year. Oh, they are, mate, you know. And that's the good thing about knowledge, Hugo. Knowledge is priceless, mate, you know. It's empowerment, it's all sorts of things, you know what I mean? So, flipping mozzies, it's hot out here, fan, and humid. I need to get into aircon. Someone just lost a tree. Hopefully it's not on my car. There we go. Yeah, I think we just missed the tide, famo. Bugger. They didn't say. Normally the tide at the mouth takes 45 minutes to get here. So we should have had another 45 minutes of fishing, you know. But this is just ridiculous, you know what I mean? But anyway, right. Now this is interesting. Famo, I was just watching that foliage over there. And all of the foliage is in the water, right? I just saw like a line in the foliage moving. That usually means that there's a fish going through the cover to get to a better feeding spot. So what we might do, let's just see if there's one over there, yeah? Yeah, I've read about it, mate. 37 degrees, yes. It's Australia, bud. I'm just going to go down the edge of the canopies here, so just give me a second. The only problem too with this heat is it takes a lot of the oxygen out of the water. It's more noticeable in fresh water, so. We stopped streaming there for a while. I haven't streamed on Australis TV in months. That may change tomorrow. Oh, hang on. Come on. We had a bump there, fam. See how the line's moving slowly? We had a bump. Something could have gone across the braid there. Hang on, let's just see if that line straightens. And if it does, we'll set the hook. If not, whenever you're in doubt when you're fishing, always take all the tension off your line so the fish makes the decision. Because a lot of times fish will hit stuff that sort of drops to the bottom, and if you slightly move it, it scares them, you know? Come on. Don't know what that is. Come on. No. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. Oh. Hey there, Squiggles. How are you, bud? No, you don't want to fish moving water, Petty Demon. You want to fish the change of tide. So just say, this is the short course in fishing tides, right? So just say you've got a high tide at 6 o'clock. You fish from 3:30 to 7:30 and then move. Because once the water starts moving, the fish will go with it, mate, you know? Always got to fish the peaks, you know what I mean? And I'll quite happily sit at this spot for 40 hours until I hook a fish, famo, you know? Very quiet though. I thought with the drop in barometer and all the rest of the stuff, mind you, it is really hot though, and they don't like too much heat. Let's have another cast. Don't know, old man Mose, but it'd be too hot for freshwater fish to live in, mate. In Western Australia, fam, if you're going to go freshwater fishing, you've got to fish the bottom foot of water. Don't waste your time, because most of our rivers aren't deep anyway, they're quite shallow, so our waterways are quite susceptible to, you know, overheating and that sort of stuff, which can affect, you know, the livelihood of fish and everything. Right, I'm just going to go and change tails in a minute. I'm going to go to a Z-Man grub and then see how we go with that, okay? I don't know whether you can see the end of the line, right? But watch the end of the line. Now see how there's a bow in it? Watch how I fish this. I go bump, bump, and then I retrieve the line. Now see how it's straight. Then as it drops, you know the lure's gone back on the bottom? Because a lot of people fish too shallow and they fish too quick, which is a real headache. You've got to give the fish plenty of time to have a look at what you're doing, you know? And if it takes, and what you do is you count how long it takes for your line to stop moving. So for example here, right, if I go out here, like that, okay, so that's still moving, still moving, still moving. Okay, so it's about 10 foot deep out there, right? Right, so bump, bump, get that down. Okay, so that's just hit the bottom now. So where we're fishing is about 3 meters, right? And little things like this allow you to just get a little bit of a, you know, like check on what you're doing, right? That's about the same time to hit the bottom. Okay, so that point there is where it starts to taper up to the bank, and you know where the rocks are, right? Now see all the leaves, how they've cleaned out? That way we know that the tide's changed and it's all heading back to the ocean again. So I think we've missed the boat, fam. All right, so what I've got to do is just make a quick decision. I'm just going to quickly get a Z-Man grub, and the only place we can really fish now that this is shallowing out is in there. Okay? Bugger. They were meant to last a lot longer than that tonight. Hey there, Shook. How are you, bud? What's going on? All right. So, what do we got here? Hang on for a minute. Centimetre rub. Just give me a second, Famo. Right. All right. Okay. So there's an old saying in fishing: when in doubt, use white. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. Alrighty. So what I've got here is this is a chartreuse coloured jig head. Right, no, sorry, this is a chartreuse coloured tail with a jig head. These are little 2.5 inch Berkeley gulps. Whoops. They're obviously not very good packaging. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap to a white Berkeley gulp because the water in there is quite discoloured. So with the water being discoloured, you need something that can be visible to the fish, right? And white's always your best option. Okay. So and always put them back into the same area, fam. So when you there. Now, did everybody see this fish in here? See these fish that have come in here? Look at that. Did you see the water? Remember what I said to you? Right, so we got a little school of fish that's come in. Okay, so the burley is working. What I'm going to do, that's a little school of mullet coming in. When you do your soft plastics in 2.5 or 3 inch tail, that's a 3/16 ounce jig head, right? You've got to decide whether you want the tail right up. Right, so what you do is you just go, and remember when you rig soft plastics, it's a matter of millimetres. So always go in the middle, always go a couple of grooves back, right? Always sit that flush like so, right? And always try and get it into the meatiest part of the soft plastic. And you want to get it, there we go, so that when it sits like that, because soft plastics, what they'll do is they'll sit vertically in the water, which a lot of people don't realise, and then the tail will wiggle around and bring the fish in, okay? So just give me a second. I'll just get back out here on the rock. Ouch, 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 ouch. Sore feet. Oh. Nugdam, how are you, bud? So, okay. Right, so now we've got a bit of water heading out. So what I'm going to do is just going to sit in here. Right. Yeah, so see how this is all cleared out? That's because the tide's turned, so we've missed the boat, but we'll still try and get one. Excuse me, sometimes when the tide turns like this, you'll have fish going back out to the coast with the tide, right? Right. That's clearly visible in the water. Let's try again. All right, so one thing you do, don't tick your bar arm over till your line's on the bottom. I mean, your lure's on the bottom. See that there? See how the line's still turning over? It's just stopped. Now tick it over, right? That's too far, hang on. The thing is, people, this river is really polluted, right? And with that pollution, it has affected fish numbers. There was a massive fish kill in the river here last year. So just give me a second. I just want to get a couple of casts out there before I just go back to chat, okay? So hang on a second. And I don't know whether you can see that. What I'm doing is with each cast, I'm subsequently moving a little bit further into the main part of the river. If we are going to hit a fish, it's probably going to be in this direction here because they're usually on the canopy line, okay? So just give me a second. Hang on, what's that? That's on the bottom. The other thing is too, you don't want to stick, slightly drop it, another bend, and that's enough. Because it's the front 3 guides of the rod tip that does all the work for you. Right, good. Hang on a second, Famo. All right, just give me a couple of more minutes, people. I just want to try another cast and then I'll just catch up with chat. Hang on a second. Now see how all the water's cleared up? That's why, and all the leaves are heading out to the left. That's how you know that the tide's changed. Here are these mullet again, fam. So there's either a mulloway chasing these mullet in here, right, or there's a little river whaler or something like that. So if I had the fly rod here, I'd put a little fly out there to get them. Mullet only eats certain types of insects and that. So just let me get a couple more casts out, because when you're on the roll with it, you got to just make sure you get them out there. Now that's a bit of an overcast. I should have had another cast in here, but we might fluke a fish, so just hang on a second. Any sense? Welcome, bud. Hang on a second. Let me just have one more cast after this too. Come on. These sorts of conditions before, just on the change of tide, when the fish start following back into the coast, you sometimes get one, but you won't get one if you don't have a lure in the water, you know. Your best colours to use for this are the Z-Man motor oil, because they've got a little bit of fluorescent colour in them. Right, and I'm just going to go and see if I've got one in the tackle box. Yeah, the mullet are sticking around close, so... Right, I'm going to have one more cast, Famo, because, like I said, I overcast and left too big a gap there. That's it. Right, I can probably get another one in there. That's good. Now see where we've got these mullet here? I'm actually going to bring this 2.5-inch tail through that little school of mullet, hoping that there's something underneath it that's just about to hit it. The hell's that? Rightio, one more cast in that gap and then I'm going to change soft plastics. Boom, there we go. What I should have done was cast there. That was a little crab, fam. Cheeky bastard. All right, let's have a go. Hang on. All right, now there was something that bumped that then, so let's just hang on a second. Come on. Normally what will happen is when all the junk on the surface bypasses you, they usually sit just behind then, almost like behind the seam of the water, you know? So let's just wait and see what happens. Right. It's not going to swim at all, especially when it's been spiked by the hook. Gaz, how are you, bud? I'm just going to try something different. I'm just going to leave it on the bottom there for about 2 or 3 minutes while I set the other one up. All right, here we go. What have I missed out on? Nugdam, how are you? That's right, Loey. 20 cents, how are you, bud? Yeah, 20 cents. I think the closest thing, our mulloway are like your drum over there. No, not your drum, your redfish, but without the spot on the tail. Culpable, thanks for resubbing, mate. Ellie, how are you? Hello from Western Australia. Gaz, Northern Territory. Are you in Darwin, mate? The city that never sleeps. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Now, what I'm going to do is... Oh, yeah, that's the low tide for sure, fam. The braid ended up underneath the branches. Sorry about that, people. With what I'd read on Willy Wither, I've got to stop using that app. It is the worst app for conditions, especially tides. Right, it's just brained it. I'm going to go back to the bomb or whatever it's called. Rightio, there we go. Okay. Right, let's go and get another one and come back, yeah? Whew. Hey, Entropic Medusa, how are you? 20 cents, thank you very, very much for subbing at tier 1, mate. Thank you for the support. People, if you're new to the stream, welcome. My name's Jim. This is Australis Fishing. When you follow and you watch the stream, even if you don't follow, you're a part of the Oz fam. Now, streaming's voluntary, so enjoy the content. Okay? We would really appreciate it if you went to YouTube and subscribe for free. Okay? It is 7:27 p.m. at night, bud. In the Tanami Desert. Okay. Yeah, but who's going to protect them from you, Gaz? Gaz is like, no one. Oh, flip me biscuit. Is that it? Oh, flip me biscuit. Too big. Too big. Too big. Right, excuse me for a second, famo. Look, when you fish rivers, it's all about finesse. 1/16 ounce jig heads and passion, fam, passion. Right. Oop. Just give me a second, famo. Just gonna put on just another little jig head, and then we're gonna go with a 1/16 ounce jig head and the lighter rod to go back to a bit of finesse. Tell you what, I'm a big target for these mozzies. Bloody frogs. That's a possum dropping honky nuts on me. It's going to be war. Oh, just hang on a second, famo. Oh, there they are. Beauty. Lovely. All right, the rod fell over and it's still a one piece. That helps. Now, that's interesting. I don't know whether everyone heard that, but there was a big surface disturbance underneath that tree there. Just hang on a second, fam. Let me just get some water into me because I'm just about to bloody die from dehydration here. All right, famo. Now, let me show you something that they don't show you in the tackle stores, right? Now, this is the 3-inch Grubs motor oil, okay, in that colour. The reason why it's such a good colour for mulloway and that, right, is it has a very, very slight hint of glow. It's barely noticeable, yeah? Right, so did everybody see my gazelle-like approach on the rocks there? Right. Yeah, no bobbers here, culpable, you old bugger. What do you mean half of Jim's gone? It's a really good way to lose weight, culpable, just get sick. Excuse me. All right. In Z-Man we trust. Okay, let's go. There was a big commotion underneath this tree here, fam. And it was on the like the downstream side of the tide now. That's better. All right. Beautiful. Come on. You got to remember too. Oh, yeah, that's called fluid retention, culpable, but not for much longer. The diet. Sorry about that. From what I calculated, we should have had about another, 45 minutes of high tide, but it's not happening, is it? Damn it. And even down the beach, the tide would have been going out, so there wouldn't have been much point fishing. Hey, you little here we go. What we'll do is we've got a little blue manna crab in here. Come on, you little bastard, get out. There you go. Catch that. Come on. Show you how easy these are to catch. Come on, there you go. You know you want to. No, I'll leave that. He'll probably pinch the tail in half, knowing my luck. Ego side of fishing. Just do it because you enjoy it, Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Now, why was that on the surface like that? Did that get hit? Oh, I think it did. Oh, nice one, Ellie. Yeah, well, you can tell when you've got crabs because they crawl sideways, Petty. All right, now we're just going to go slow and stealth. Oh, we've got some blowfish now coming in, fam. Annoying buggers they are. Oh, they're black swans. You can tell that with the white under sort of carriage on their wings, see? Ah. Rightio, let's try in here. We might have to call it a night, I think. Who's Kylie culpable? I think culpable's got the whole cast of Neighbours on his wall. You know what I mean? Righto, lucky last. Lots of mozzies around who obviously like a free meal when I'm around. Alright people, the water's too low now, our lures are coming to the surface, so we're going to have to call it a night. Really sorry about that. If I had have thought that the high tide was going to finish earlier, I would have started the stream earlier, you know. Oh, do they? Oh yeah, I mean, Taswegia's legendary for fishing, mate, you know. Alright famo, well, we nearly cracked the 100, if you know what I mean. It's under construction, Petty Demon. Look, Petty Demon, what's going to happen is, mate, we've got quite a few firsts coming up for the channel, but I've got to get it set up properly. Unfortunately, when I was sick for about 4 months and my heart played up and I got pleurisy and that, it absolutely knocked me on my ass and I couldn't do much. And that combined with work and that sort of stuff just sort of made it quite difficult. So we are going to set everything up, and don't worry, we're going to remember the good people like yourself when we do. Okay, and hey Droopy and Bean, how are you, mate? Hello from Australia. It's been very quiet, mate. The high tide sort of changed about 30 minutes into our fishing, which sort of put the kibosh on the fishing, you know. Yeah, it does, Hugo, and that's what it's about, mate. We're not about, you know, trying to bloody e-beg and that, mate. We're just about providing content, education, environment and entertainment. Everyone gets acknowledged, and then, you know, you're all a part of it. I mean, look at that. Where would you want to be apart from here? I mean, look at it. It's beautiful, you know. So, all right, let me just see who's live. Oh, excuse me for a second. Come on. Following. Let's do that one. Okay, so we're just going to do a raid, and we'll be going back to our natural element, which is the beach, people. Codes, how are you, old boy? Glad to see you in here, mate. Hope you're well, bud. No, that's all right, mate. We don't worry about numbers. So what did I do there wrong? There goes that annoying crab again. Police chase network, I think is the name. All right, people, we're going to go and raid Police Chase Network. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate you giving up your time to watch the stream, because at the end of the day, the most important thing you've got is your time. See you soon.